close to the truth is a hate group, right?
Exactly.
And then you'll go to jail for, I mean, it's unbelievable how we have been so fooled.
Right. The sad thing is that this has been going on for years. And nobody, well, I'm not saying nobody. I mean, the American people just starting to wake up to this. Okay? Now, we could talk about some other things how it led into where we are today and how they've corrupted federal institutions so that we don't see what's going on. Now, if you want to say why we don't understand, it starts with the CIA. Let's start with the OSS. Okay? The OSS has ties to United Fruit Company. Okay? Who ran United Fruit Company? None other than Mo Dallas. Okay? The head of the Purple Gang, the Detroit Mafia. Okay? United Fruit was powerful enough to get the CIA into the war in Guatemala, okay, which killed 200,000 people during the Eisenhower administration. United Fruit was the one who got us into the Bay of Pigs affair, okay? So there's a question of where United Fruit begins and ends, where the OSS begins and ends, and where the CIA begins and ends. It looks like to me that they pretty much have merged together, okay, in their activities, which means that the CIA is operating as a renegade agency. And I'm not saying everybody in there is like that, but there are factions in the CIA that are running as a renegade agency involved working closely with organized crime, involved with assassination, financial manipulation, and who knows what else.
Well, we've definitely, you know, we've documented that here in several of our shows, so that's, yeah, it's definitely safe to assume.
Right. But from what we talked about, it's, you know, I could show the connections to United Fruit, but basically if you did a web search on United Fruit and Mo Dallas, you'll see them come right up, okay? And that's one area where they basically have corrupted our, you know, that agency. And that corruption exists today. I mean, basically, what have they done recently? Well, one of the things they've done recently, who killed JFK Jr.? Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right? You know, obviously the CIA was there when Robert F. Kennedy got killed. And they're finding that, you know, the official story doesn't hold water. Okay?
Not even close. It's,
right.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, the CIA was involved with activities in the murder of JFK, in the murder of Martin Luther King, Robert F. Kennedy, and JFK Jr. Now, what was JFK Jr. going to do? He was going to run for the New York Senate seat, okay?
Yeah.
And he had a very good chance of winning. He would have won. So the question is, you know, as people would say, cui bono, who benefits? Who has the New York Senate seat that John F. Kennedy Jr. was going to win?
Oh, that would be Miss Hillary.
Miss Hillary. And you remember her viewpoint? Well, there could be another RFK assassination. That might have been more than wishful thinking from that lady.
Wow. Obviously.
Right. Let's talk about, when you talk about the media, there was an operation that started in the 50s that you talked about, Operation Mockingbird, okay? That was a setup by the CIA to basically have their little drones infiltrate and provide propaganda through all the media outlets to America, okay? Who did they basically recruit from an economic basis to help them do that? None other than Walter Annenberg of the Annenberg Foundation, whose father was Moses Annenberg. Okay?
Another philanthropist.
Another philanthropist. And we know them now for No Child Left Behind. That's one of the things. TV Guide. Okay? Who else? I'm trying to think. They've done others. Oh, that little company that was called Clear Channel, which is now part of Fox Media, owned by Rupert Murdoch. Right.
Wow.
Right. So Rupert Murdoch and Fox definitely have ties in organized crime. There's no way that one can buy a company that's owned by organized crime unless you have approval by another crime boss. That's the only way it's going to work. So the question is, who is Rupert Murdoch then?
Wow. He has a pretty nice hundreds of acres ranch in Prairie, Montana.
Oh, sweetheart he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, off our bones, basically denying, you know.
Thousands of acres, maybe. It's
Right. Right. What we're talking about today, they're not going to let you do not hear them talking about this any place.
Nowhere, not at all. And like what you brought up in the very beginning about, you know, just what they make off of DuPont alone, $1 billion a day.
That's just from that. Right.
That's just from DuPont alone. It's phenomenal. It's unbelievable.
Right. So easily imagine that, you know, conservatively, they got to be making at least $10 billion a day. Okay. And if you did that times 360 days a year, what's 360 times 10?
Wow. But they're philanthropists. I thought they're supposed to feed all the starving children and instead of feeding us a bunch of bull and taking everything over and dumbing us down, you know, making a bunch of mind-controlled drones it's sick.
Well, let me tell you an example of how well they are helping us here. I had a girlfriend who I used to date whose father worked for DuPont for, I don't know, about 35 years before he retired. Mm-hmm. He flat out told me, he says, DuPont's owned by the mafia. Okay? And the other thing the sweethearts did at DuPont, this is going back, I don't know, about 12 years ago, they used to hire Americans. They used to hire about 25,000 American technology professionals, chemical engineers, IT engineers, electrical engineers, all that. Okay? Since the Bronfmans got their fingers in there, they don't hire any Americans. As a matter of fact, they laid off 25,000 Americans. They brought in all the Indian labor into America. Well, they put all the Americans out of work. Okay? They don't give a damn about the American people.
Not at all.
DuPont won when the Army wanted to get rid of their nerve gas, the old nerve gas, the VX nerve gas out of their depots in Indiana, who won the contract? DuPont. And my eyes are rolling over there. It's like, hey, you trust these bastards to manage disposition of nerve gas? You know, the nerve of the bastards to give them the contract. I mean, I would give it to anybody except those bastards.
Well, they can either buy it peacefully or they just, kill a bunch of people and take it over.
Right.
Well, they say resistance is futile, right?
Right. No. Well, basically, I think this is a different type of, different type of resistance. I think we're at the level where we've got to start demanding the Elliot Nesses and the Untouchables. We're basically, unfortunately, what it's going to take to deal with this, it is going to have to become more violent. When we really start succeeding in dealing with this, it's going to be, in some ways, our streets and our cities are going to something like Mexico. You're going to see that kind of violence. When you reduce them back down to street gangs, that's the way they're going to behave.
Yeah, but what's amazing is they're the ones creating it. And not only that, they're actually forming, the hate groups and fueling, because they're trying to get us to fight each other on the streets as well.
Yes. Yes, they are. You are right about that. And it's because they're
fueling it. It's just crazy, and then profiting off of it. And they did a damn good job organizing. I gotta say, you gotta hand it to them.
Well, you're talking about it, and the first step is to let the people see. In reality, there's 95 good people for every 5 bad people there is. I'd say it's less than 5% of the population of this nation.